Have you ever looked at your life and realized the person who was supposed to love you most was actually the one causing you the most pain? Take Anna's story. I stayed for years, thinking that if I just tried a little harder, I could fix us. But all I was doing was breaking myself. It felt like walking on a tightrope, every single day. One wrong step, one wrong word, and everything would shatter. I got so good at reading his moods, at making myself smaller to keep him calm, that I forgot who I was when he wasn't there. The silence was the loudest part. Those moments right after a fight, when he'd act as if nothing happened, and I was left with my heart pounding, my stomach in knots, feeling totally and completely alone. I started to believe it was my fault. If I was just better, prettier, smarter, quieter, then he'd be happy. Then we'd be happy. My friends kept saying they were worried. "Anna, you just don't seem like yourself," and I'd defend him. I'd make excuses, because admitting they were right meant admitting that this life I'd poured my soul into was built on a lie. It meant facing the terrifying fact that the love I thought I had was actually a cage. The physical signs were obvious. I had headaches all the time, and a knot of anxiety in my stomach that never, ever went away. My body was keeping a score my mind was trying to ignore. I lost myself, piece by piece, until one day I looked in the mirror and a stranger was looking back at me, a tired, scared stranger. The story you just heard from Anna is a painful, confusing, and incredibly common experience. This isn't just a bad relationship, it's a psychological trap. Her feeling of being stuck, of defending the very person who was hurting her, is a sign of something called a trauma bond. A trauma bond is a powerful emotional attachment that forms between an abuser and the person they're abusing. It's forged by a vicious cycle of abuse, followed by positive reinforcement. Think of it this way. You have these intense periods of mistreatment, the anger, the criticism, the control, and then they're followed by moments of charm, apologies, or what feels like love. The abuser says they love you, that they're sorry, and for a minute the relationship feels safe again. But it's always temporary. This isn't a bond over a shared traumatic experience. It's an addiction to the source of your trauma. It's so confusing because the person causing the pain is also the one offering comfort from it. This cycle of punishment and reward hijacks your brain's reward system. You start craving the good moments just to get relief from the bad, and you start to believe you can control the outcome if you just do everything right. Survivors often defend their abusers just like Anna did, because their own sense of self has been worn down. They've been gaslit into thinking the abuse is their fault, or that they're the only person who truly understands their partner. It's a survival mechanism. Your brain is just trying to make sense of an impossible situation, and sometimes bonding with the source of danger feels safer than fighting it. If you recognize this pattern in your own life, listen to me. You are not crazy. You are not weak. And you are not alone. It's a sign of your incredible capacity to love and hope, even in the worst circumstances. This understanding shifts the question from, why don't they just leave? To what powerful forces are keeping them there? For Anna, the moment that finally broke through the bond wasn't one big, dramatic event. It was a small, quiet one. Back to Anna's story. I was at my sister's house, and my little niece had drawn a picture of our family. She drew me in it, and in her drawing, I had this huge, bright, easy smile. I just stared at it, and I realized I couldn't remember the last time I had smiled like that. I couldn't remember the last time I felt that light, or that free. I went into the bathroom and I really looked at myself in the mirror. Not just a quick glance, but a long, hard look. I saw the dark circles under my eyes. I saw how my shoulders were always hunched forward, like I was bracing for an impact. And my first thought was, she wouldn't recognize me. My niece, in her innocence, drew the aunt she remembered, the aunt she loved, not the ghost I'd become. And in that moment, something inside me just broke. But it was a good break. It was the first crack in the shell I'd built around myself. The fear of leaving was still huge, but for the first time the fear of staying was bigger. The fear that my niece would grow up and ask me why I let someone put my light out. The fear of disappearing completely. That's when I knew I had to go. Not for anyone else. For me, for the woman in that drawing. I took a picture of it. And on the hard days, The days I felt weak and wanted to go back. I'd look at it. It became my compass, pointing me back to the life I deserved. Making that decision is the bravest part of the journey, but it's also just the beginning. Once you leave, the real work of healing starts. I like to frame this journey as a roadmap with clear stages, though it's almost never a straight line. The very first stage is creating safety. This is the foundation for everything. It means physical safety, of course, getting to a place where you're no longer at risk. But just as important, it means psychological safety. This means cutting off contact or having very strict, firm boundaries if you have to co-parent. It's about finally giving your nervous system, which has been on high alert for years, permission to stand down. You might feel completely exhausted in this phase. That's normal. Your body and mind are finally coming down from a long-term state of emergency. The second stage is processing and grieving. This is where you start to make sense of what happened. You build a clear story of what you went through, not to relive the pain, but to understand it so it no longer controls you. This stage also involves mourning. You have to grieve the relationship you thought you had, the person you were before the trauma, and the future you lost. Anger, sadness, confusion. You have to let yourself feel it all to move through it. The third stage is reconnecting with yourself. Trauma makes you lose touch with who you are, what you need, and what you want. So this stage is all about rediscovery. It can be as simple as asking, what do I want to eat for dinner? What music do I want to listen to? These small choices rebuild your sense of self. This is also where things like journaling, mindfulness, or gentle walks can be so healing. They help you reconnect with your body as your home, not as a source of pain and anxiety. Finally, there's the stage of reconnecting with the world. This is where you start building a new life. The trauma is now a part of your story, but it's not the whole story. It doesn't define your future. You begin building new, healthy relationships. You learn to trust yourself again, and eventually, you may even trust others. This is where you stop just surviving and you start thriving. You find that you can take what you've been through and build a life with real meaning and connection. If you are just starting this, please be kind to yourself. Practice self-compassion. Healing is not a race. Every small step is a huge victory. If you're finding this story and advice helpful, please take a second to like this video so more people who really need to hear this message can find it. And if you feel safe doing it, sharing a simple, "I'm healing too," in the comments can create a powerful sense of community. You're not alone in this. Today, Anna is thriving in that fourth stage. I want you to hear from her one last time, to see what life can look like on the other side. Anna, survivor, I'm in that fourth stage. Integration. Don't get me wrong, there are still hard days. A song or a smell can throw me back for a second, but it doesn't have power over me anymore. The biggest difference is that I trust myself. I can hear my own intuition now, and I actually listen to it. I set boundaries, and I don't feel guilty about it. And I can honestly say that I love the person I am today more than I ever have, because I fought for her. I rebuilt her from the ground up. My life isn't perfect, but it's mine. It's full of real laughter, with friends I can be my whole self around, and a sense of peace I truly thought was impossible to feel. That smile my niece drew, I feel it from the inside now. It's real. And for anyone watching who is where I was, sitting in the dark and feeling invisible, I promise you, healing is possible. A life that feels like your own is out there waiting for you. Anna's courage in sharing her story is a powerful reminder that healing from relationship trauma is a profound act of taking your life back. It is a journey, and it's one you do not have to walk alone. If you or someone you know is in an abusive situation, please know that there are resources available to help. To help you, I've put together a guide to help you discover the signs of toxic relationships. You can download it for free using the link in the description. And when you're ready for your next step, you can watch another video on toxic relationships, which should be on the screen for you to click right now. Please remember, what you experienced is real, but it does not have to be your future. Be gentle with yourself and know that you are worthy of safety, respect, and a life filled with happiness. Thank you for watching. Remember, you are not alone, and you are so much stronger than you think. If you're ready to start healing and you want support, I offer online therapy, and everything you need is in the link below. And if reaching out feels scary, just know this. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to take the first tiny step. I'm here when you're ready. If this video helped you understand your situation a little more, make sure you like, subscribe, and stick around. I've got more coming that might just help you out today.